one key thing that Marcus Freeman, that he didn't just say we're going to go out and recruit the best and most elite athletes. He said we're going to recruit the athletes that are elite that fit Notre Dame. Like, we can't forget the B part, that fit Notre Dame. And then on top of that, he says, and some of those guys don't know that they fit Notre Dame. So he's taking the responsibility to let kids know, hey, you're a Notre Dame guy, even if you don't think you are. That right there was very encouraging to me as far as what the recruiting classes in the near future will look like.
And this sealed it for me too. As soon as he said that, I knew from the jump that he's going after guys that are under the perception, and that's a good chunk of the recruits, in my opinion, that I've seen. I mean, I remember just even having Zeke come on campus the same day I was coming on campus, and we wanted to turn him into a corner. You know what I mean? Like, just tone deaf to what we're doing. So for me, I just really thought that once he said that, I know that he understands the pessimism around it of being Notre Dame, but proving that he's a Notre Dame guy will even be better, because now we get to a chance of we're converting guys. We might turn a guy from a Bama to a Notre Dame. We might turn a guy from a Clemson to a Notre Dame based off of them seeing the fit. Marcus Freeman's a fit for a lot of guys, more so than a Brian Kelly would be, and I think that's the difference there too.
Yeah.
I just feel like, look, you have to be willing to fight. I think at the end of the day, the whole we're shopping down in a different aisle thing was more about the unwillingness to fight, knowing that to get those kids, you had to be heavily involved in that recruitment for someone who didn't want to recruit. And also because some of these kids that have to be convinced that they are Notre Dame fits, it's not, the convincing doesn't end the first day class. No. It's just part of the process. The first time they are in the class and they're feeling overwhelmed, they're going to feel a level of inadequacy that's actually felt by every freshman at Notre Dame, but they're going to feel like they don't belong because of what people told them and the preconceived notions that they had to go in. So it doesn't just stop once they sign their letter of intent. And I think that requires a level of engagement and involvement with your players on an everyday basis that the previous coach just didn't want to invest in. Yeah. And I think that also is part of it, because if you just recruit these kids in Notre Dame and just kind of turn them loose and say, okay, we got you, let's go play football, they're gonna fail. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them are going to fail. It requires an everyday commitment to, hey, how you doing? You doing all right? You doing this? You doing that? Like, one of the things I'd like to see Notre Dame change, and I could be wrong on this, Malik, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but even though Notre Dame has a great academic support system, the coaches don't have to be involved in the day-to-day parts of academics because Notre Dame has such a great operation. I think that they still need to be more involved, because that's part of where you're getting to know, where are they struggling? How are you doing? Because if you don't know that a kid's having a really tough time with his econ class and he's already kind of borderline eligibility academically, you're not going to know why he's been so unfocused in practice this week. You know what I mean?
100%. And that's the good thing about Marcus Freeman, and also when it comes to recruiting, is that the players can see the relationship. They can feel the connectivity, and there was a disconnect between the staff, like you said, and academics, to where the staff couldn't relate enough for the kids to feel comfortable that they can get through it, because it was so, we're just football, academics. We got a great support staff, but we don't really know about it. We just want you to just invest in it, and they'll take care of itself. So now
can't be that.
It cannot be that, and especially when you're trying to recruit guys and flip guys. So Marcus Freeman being able to have the knowledge of understanding that he can break down the fit to players that don't know they can fit shows that he'll be more invested in all aspects of that student athlete role. You know, we got so complacent and geared to, okay, Notre Dame will take care of the life of the student, and then we'll just focus on football. I think there's a synergy and connection that'll come to it, and that's what's going to change the perception. You asked specifically what will change the perception, and that's the coaches being relatable on that piece. Right. More involved in the student life of their athletes.
And it's not the perception amongst the fan base, because we don't know. It's the perception of when other recruits come on campus and talk to your team. Yeah. Because you can try all you want as a coach to only let recruits be around the kids that you know are going to have good things to say and are going to toe the company line and all that kind of stuff. But here's the reality. Notre Dame is too small for them not to run into other players that don't feel that way.
Right.
And that's the thing is like they're going to get asked real honest questions, and there's going to be enough players on the team. They're going to give them real honest answers.